Insurrection narrative would die overnight if we could show that the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys are really just red herrings meant to hide what actually happened on January 6th and who orchestrated it. So, I mean, January 6th was a far bigger honeypot than, say, the Proud Boys or any group. So I call this the Gadsden Plot. It involves the Gadsden Brigade, or alternatively, we can call it the Serpent Society. So I've written hundreds of pages outlining this plot in what I call the Gadsden Memo. The long story short is that Ray Epps did not coordinate January 6th by himself. I think we all know that. But he had help from a virtual army of individuals engaged in small team operations.
Yes.
One way of identifying these teams is by identifying in plain clothes, body armor, or costumes. And further, individuals carrying the Gadsden flag were useful for signaling others to breach, acting as a rallying point for different spooks, and controlling the flow of crowd traffic, including unsuspecting bystanders being entrapped. People just walked into the area. So, just bear with me. I'm going to go through a couple examples of this. So, Gadsdens are basically conveniently placed everywhere. It's not everyone who has a Gadsden flag, but Gadsdens are at every single breach site. So, right before the initial breach of Peace Circle, a man with a Gadsden flag scales the fountain, and then the first people start to step over the barriers. Pete was on Cowboy Logic, actually, and he pointed out in a video that there was a man with a Gadsden patch in the back of his helmet. We call him Gadsden Patcher 001, or just helmet.
Hey, Tim, if you don't mind, if I could interrupt you for 1 second. I just want to explain for those that may not know. The Gadsden flag is the flag that says, "Don't tread on me." Often yellow with the snake in it. Just for those of you who may not know. So those are the patches and the flags that Tim's talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's usually a yellow, it's usually portrayed as a yellow flag with a black rattlesnake, the "Don't tread on me." It's absolutely right. And it otherwise would be an innocuous symbol, and a very important American symbol, so it's easy to overlook. I believe that the color coordination is also important too, not just because the yellow is easy to pick up on cameras, but I think that there may be some sort of play on the Proud Boy colors of black and yellow. But I think I think it's really sort of a signal between them that only they would really think to look at. But this dude, Gadsden Helmet, he's seen supervising the breach of the north scaffolding inside and outside of the tarps. And he actually clearly speaks with, I believe it's Capitol Police, not Metro, on the West Terrace before he goes into the scaffold. It's in that little corner near the north scaffold. I believe this is before Metro appear. It's around after 1 o'clock. Now, after the scaffold to breach, though, he and a fellow patcher, we call him 006 Commando, because he's basically wearing tactical gear, fatigue pants. He and Helmet are basically managing a dozen operatives who are using Gadsden flags inside the Capitol building. They're using these flags to control the flow of protesters. And this is in the Senate wing doors hallway. And this is significant because this is the initial breach the initial breach site of the Capitol building. So you got a dozen people who are using their flags to direct people on where to go. And these guys are in charge of them. Unfortunately, I can't show you the video because there are protective orders, but this is just an example. There are better examples the public might be able to find on the outside that is not from government video. And I just want to say, and this is probably one of the most substantive ones, a lot of attention centers on the Lower West Terrace Tunnel, where supposedly the worst violence occurred. However, what goes unsaid is that there were multiple camera crews staged there to record violence staged by bad actors inside the tunnel. I found at least 9 Gadsden patchers in the tunnels and numerous two-man teams in Gadsden attire. So I call the tunnel the snake pit. There are at least 3 patchers. Call them 021 Olive, 007 Crimson, and 014 Hardhead. And specifically, these guys are relevant because they point at the Gadsden patches on their headgear, 2 wearing hats, 1 guy in a helmet. and they point at these patches to alert their cohorts, and even in one instance, the police, who and what they are. So there is some level of coordination between both sides here. Excuse me. Now, I want to close out for now by again, appealing to the public. You can't see the video that I have, and I can't see what you have. It's wrong, and the public deserves to see everything, and so do defendants in the interest of justice. But this is how it is for now. So I'm asking my fellow internet autists out there to go through all publicly available video and dig into the Serpent Society like as if it was John Podesta's emails. So make tech be with you, and
one thing I'll say, Tim, we have a huge network of researchers and investigations, within the J6 community. So I mean, I think in a short amount of time we should be able to pull together, what's publicly available of the videos that you're referencing, and maybe we can even put that up on all the websites.
That would be absolutely amazing, and I think that would be very helpful, because even the government, they pick and choose who gets what. So it's like piecing together a puzzle that's not even, all the pieces aren't even there. It's pretty egregious. So, and like I said, if you guys had access to everything, you guys could have figured this out much quicker than I could have.
Yeah, and I mean, the one thing I will say too is, even with all the 14,000 hours of footage, I mean, that's a lot of the body cams and the CCTV. But I mean, out in the public sphere, they're for every slip that they have.